Shalom. This is Resilient One, and I just wanted to talk to you guys real quick on somatic narcissists. So in my last video on our podcast on covert, overt narcissists, I think I touched a little bit on somatic narcissists. And I think we all have dealt with a somatic narcissist. They could be male or female. I'm just going to give you a little bit of clues that you're dealing with one. And I don't know how to deal with them other than lead. Let me tell you. Look up no contact. It saves your life on a lot of things in life. A lot of things. No contact rule. It saves your life. It saves your mental stability when you run into these creatures, okay? Because they never will stop. There's no amount of love, no amount of understanding. They don't even know what they're doing, let alone understand when you tell them what they're doing, because they don't care. So just when you figure out who they are, Gray Rock are no contact, okay? But a somatic narcissist is someone who gives way too much details in how they look. I mean, you women or men have come across a somatic narcissist. This is a person who emphasizes their looks and takes high pride in their looks. So the men will usually have a very nice body. And sometimes they don't have a nice body. Other things will lack makeup for it. They will have very, very nice car, nice jewelry, nice everything. I mean, high-end, just everything. Drizzling in gold and jewelry, and when they drive around, they got the loud booming system with the window down, with the sunglasses on, just looking all, ooh, who's that? Because they know everybody's going to be looking at them, so they get a thrill off of that, and they purposely do it. They want everybody to see them. So anyway, they usually are at the gym long periods, working out very hard, making sure that they got that six-pack going. And they use their looks for eternal validation, excuse me. So I remember I dated someone who, he didn't go to the gym, but he worked out at home, and he had a really nice body, right? And he was okay looking in the face, but it was, Anyway, I just remember one picture he sent me was him and his six-pack, and he had he had an eight-pack, six-pack, and he sent me a picture of himself in underwear in front of a mirror, and I'm like, who took this picture, first of all? Which he took it, which is kind of weird in itself, and then he just everything about him was about his looks. Like when we would hang out, he would always ask me to take pictures of him. Like, oh, can you take this picture? Oh, and then look at it and critique it. And he always sees something off about him that I didn't see, because, I liked him at that time. So I thought everything about him was cool. When you like somebody, you don't notice all their imperfections, but he noticed the weirdest things in pictures when I took them. And I just thought, oh, God, that's weird. So it's half the time the pictures I took, he didn't even like them. I just remember him always looking at himself in the mirror, just always grooming himself, looking at himself in the mirror, just working out at home all the time to keep his body in shape. But the thing about him is that he ate extremely bad because he was a naturally muscular person. So he was born with his body the way it was. And I think he worked out a little bit. But the stuff he would consume, I'd be like, I know and I believe he had like, I don't know. I don't know. What I'm trying to say is he was so concerned about his outer appearance, but whatever went into his body, he just did not care. He didn't care. So anyway, back to this. Somatic narcissists will care about their looks, and they will use their looks to gain validation, attention, everything, and they're always well polished. Some days we all have those days where we just leave our house and we got our hoodie on and we're just mobbing, going to the store real quick to get some food because we're hungry, or going to do something real fast. A narcissist, they always got to be on. For a female narcissist, when it comes down to the looks, she is usually half naked. You know how you see those women who are naked outside, don't got hardly no clothes on? Those are narcissists because they know that, for one, a lot of men, regardless of if they are desirable, are going to be staring at her. They're going to be looking, and she's going to gain a lot of attention. And with that attention, she also gains validation that she is beautiful, that she is nice looking. Now, mind you, I've seen some women who were not that attractive, maybe face-wise, body-wise. And I understand, they still had men's attention because they were half naked. So when a woman goes out butt naked, there's something up with her. And I don't care about that dang feminist movement where a woman can do whatever she wants and wear whatever she wants and you gotta respect her. No. You have to respect yourself and understand that there are rapists out here in this world. There are monsters out here. And mind you, I understand a rapist is not necessarily, clothes are not gonna, or lack of clothes is not gonna stop a man from raping you, but I just feel like, why egg on somebody or egg on strangers around you being half naked, So a narcissistic woman, she is those women you see half naked, wearing the booty shorts and the booty hanging out, and are wearing revealing tops that show off a lot of their boobs, and just too much. To me, it's like, when you're like that, there's children around, and when a child looks upon a woman who is half naked, to me, that woman is raping, molesting that child, in some weird way. Even though she's not touching them, she's causing them to look at a woman in a sexual manner. Like, to me, it's weird. It's like, don't you think about the children that are going to see you half naked and they're seeing your butt cheeks out and your breast out? Don't you think that little boy who's 11 years old, who might be going through puberty, you're molesting him in some ways, because he shouldn't see that right now at that age, but whatever. I digress. They are vain people. Again, they obsess with and overspend on high-end clothes, designer products. Some of them, if they're lucky, they can drive very expensive cars. They have to live in, there's nothing wrong with living in a good neighborhood, but they have to live in the best neighborhoods if they can. They will even go into debt to have the best things in life, right? I've seen, me personally, I don't deal with credit cards, I try to build my credit in other ways, but I don't deal with credit cards. A narcissist, and this is huge. I'm pretty sure everybody has credit cards, but I just noticed the somatic narcissists I know, they have a lot of credit cards. Just a lot. I'm like, some of them they're behind on. And that's because they try to live above their means. When you have credit cards, you obviously need to budget better. That's what I feel. Like, to me, credit cards is like walking into a hell system. No, thank you. Another one is they are hypersexualized. They will use sex to gain the desire they want from the person. They will use sex as a status tool too. For the women, again, they'll dress in revealing clothes. And on top of that, the woman, she will purposely mess with a married man or a man in a relationship because she likes the idea of being the other woman. Being the other woman makes her feel like she is better than the wife or the girlfriend because she's able to take a man away from his family, and usually she'll give that man who's married or has in a relationship really good sex. Because in her ultimate goal is to get him away from his foundation, even though that's a dirty man anyway. But when you meet a woman who's okay with being the other woman, 9 times out of 10, she's just trying to gain some type of, self-esteem from this basically just a sexual relationship. In her mind, she thinks that she's doing something. If anything, she's just playing herself, because 10 times out of 10, most men, they will deal with you giving them sex while married, and they will never leave their wives. But in the somatic narcissistic woman's mind, she thinks she has the power through her vagina and through her body to make this man leave his wife. And so I guess the same thing. I have never really talked to a man who messed with married women, so I can't give a story on that. But yeah, the man will use sex as a way again to gain their harem, and the man will usually have sex with a lot of women at once. Especially if they're in a relationship, they'll have their main relationship, but then they'll have their little harem at the side, where sometimes the other, the main girlfriend, wife will know about all the other women, and he'll just be having sex with a few women all at once. Because again, it's all about making sure that they are highly desired. They have to show off that good body. They have to show off that they got good D, good V. So therefore, they will give it out to the community of people who they want to, and they gain their self-esteem off of that sex alone. Another thing is the somatic narcissist will do, and this kind of goes into what I was just talking about, is triangulation. They will triangulate you with their new partner to ex-partner. So, side note, I had an ex who did this to me, little asshole, right? This dude would purposely, I knew something was up with him. And I'm about to tell on myself, but oh well. So, I knew something was up with him. He wasn't telling me the truth. And, ideally, I should have just left, but I don't have evidence. I needed evidence, okay? So don't judge me while I'm about to tell you this, but I went through his phone, boom. And let me tell you, that what I found was no accident. He wanted me to find that stuff because he left the text messages in there. He made sure that if I ever saw his text messages, or whoever else was looking through his phone, because it probably most likely wasn't just me, what he did was he kept all the women who were begging for him to be in a relationship, to be seen with him in public. Because some of the women he was dealing with, he would see him on the low. He wouldn't even go out with them. He would just have them meet him that he'll meet them at their place or meet them at his place. There was one girl in particular who was just really sad. She was like, I want to be in a relationship with you. I want to be seen with you. I want to go out to the movies and do things and go out to dinner and, basically normal stuff people do in a relationship. But what he was doing was he was keeping her on the back burner and hidden. And then there's another one who she had a kid, and I don't know who she was. There's just so many women in there. But what I noticed about his text messages was conversations were missing. So he would delete his response to some of the women. So if anybody read his text, they really wouldn't know what's going on, but they would know that he was highly desirable by at least 5 different women. So again, he was on a whole nother level of weirdness, right? So most likely I wasn't the only woman going through his phone, because I know he wasn't that intelligent. So, but yeah, so they will definitely have a bunch of women. So yeah, that was my time. I went through his, Anyway, so back to this triangulation. That was one way he triangulated me, was making, he knew I was gonna see it, because I know for a fact he dealt with women long enough to know that, and he knows that he was up to no good, and he knows how women are. Women are going to investigate. When they feel like something's wrong, if they don't leave, most women will either be like, oh, well, he do what he wants, or they investigate. I'm an investigator. I'm going to investigate. Why do I feel this way? And I found my reasons. So that was his way of triangulating me, was letting me see those text messages. Even though I went through his phone secretly, he knew I was going to see those text messages because he deleted certain things. And after I saw it, here the triangulation began. I would call one of his girls sister wife, because she would just constantly text him, even though she knew he was in a relationship. She would just text him. Anyway, he had several women. One of the women, she would again, going back to who knows, she could have been a narcissist, because you gotta be weird. But again, she was in her own little hell with him too. So she knew I was around. And so, if I wasn't with him, she would leave clues in his car. I would see just little stuff, like little pin marks, lipstick, sometimes like a jewelry. Or one time he was cleaning out his car, and I was helping him clean out his car, and lo and behold, there was some children's underwear in his car. And I was like, why he's got little kids' underwear in his car? And I'm like, this is weird. And I was like, I know this is not his kids' underwear. And he's like, oh, that's my nephew's underwear. And I was like, why? And I was like, okay, that's feasible, maybe. But then he threw it away. And I was like, so you're going to throw away your nephew's underwear? Why not give it back to him? So what that was one of the women I recall, she had a child, and he would help her out with her kid. And so what she did was she threw her children's underwear in his trunk, because, it was kind of discombobulated. So she hid it in his trunk, and then boom, she left clues. She was leaving all sorts of clues that she was around. Self-absorbed. Again, it goes down to, you gotta be a really self-absorbed person to just have that many people around. And how do you keep up with that many women? Anyway, let's digress off of him. They're self-absorbed. They only care about themselves. The conversation, if you ever talk to a somatic narcissist, it always goes back to them. Now, we're all guilty of that. I'm guilty of it. I can hog up a conversation, but I'm talking about someone, when you're talking to them and you're telling, man, I just fell down, I broke my leg. Oh, I'm telling someone, oh, I just fell down and I broke my leg. They're like, man, that really sucks. But you know what? I broke my leg too, and now I'm just really tired, and I gotta go to work tomorrow. And this is, and everything. You can be really talking about something, and everything just goes right back to them, and they don't go turn the conversation back to you. Now, sometimes I'm guilty of doing that. This might be a little narcissistic because everybody has. Understand this. Everybody has narcissistic traits. You'll find that you have a little bit of somatic narcissism, and you are a little bit of covert, possibly. But these people I'm talking about go and take it to a whole nother level. Like, they live this life. There's no in between. There's no good. It's all bad. Okay? You're dealing with someone who will purposely, dealing with them for so long, you'll have a stroke, you'll become sick. They suck your energy. They don't let up on this stuff. Now, if you have traits, or here and there, you can do certain things that are narcissistic, like hog a conversation. I'm really good at that sometimes. Like, I have to learn how to just sit and listen, look the person in their eyes and breathe and listen to them. Give them feedback. It's not that I have a hard time. It's just that, that's just something I do. It's natural. So I work on that. But a narcissist wouldn't even know they're doing it, and they wouldn't care if you even told them. You would tell them oh, you're hogging the conversation, and you don't listen to me. Why? And they'll be they'll get angry at you and hang up the phone and put you on timeout because you told them something that wasn't perfect about themselves. That's the difference between a regular person who has narcissistic traits, where they can kind of see okay, this is toxic behavior. This is behavior that's not going to win me any friends. And so they change it. A narcissist doesn't see nothing wrong with what they do, so they will never change it. And when you bring it up to them, all they're going to do is get angry and cut you off, put you in silent treatment, put you on the shelf, move on, and continue to do what they're doing. Because you can't oppose them. So, yeah. Anyway. So, somatic narcissists are very, very, very detrimental. They can really, I literally feel like I got sick from my last relationship. I know I did. It was just so stressful. Being around that. He was, they're very sneaky too. Because when you have someone who is hypersexual and has a harem of people, you gotta be a sneaky person, because you gotta keep at least 5 to 6 people at bay, and they all gotta not know about each other. So a lot of his time was taken up grooming other women. I remember one time, if we broke up, he'll go to the mall, and he'll just get brand new women right then and there. So, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, but we all have narcissistic traits in us. But it's a trait. It's not a person. Excuse me. It's not a personality. It's more so just it's just sometimes we're not perfect, Another thing about the somatic narcissists is, again, going back to their awesome sex they give you. Now, after that awesome sex, they will treat you like crap. You know, after sex, you typically, you want to bond more, you cuddle, you lay with each other. No. The somatic narcissist will pull away, sleep at the edge of the bed with their back turned towards you. And they get off on that. They get off knowing that they're hurting you, that they're cutting off an important part of intimacy is to bond together after that type of act, or even just laying in bed. Like, they would literally ignore you while in bed, and you feel like you're just laying in bed alone because they don't know what intimacy is, and they only fake it with you. And they only fake it with you only just to gain power over you. But once they realize, oh, I got her, there goes the bad stuff happening again. So yeah. Again, just the cheating, man. Just the cheating. Because usually when they're treating you bad, they're not holding you. They're sleeping on the opposite side of the bed with their back turned towards you, hogging the covers, and just not even giving you a hug goodnight, a kiss goodnight. They're doing other things with somebody else or other people. So right now, you're on the back burner. Even though you're in their bed or they're in your bed, you're on the back burner. You're put on a shelf. So right now, they're not going to touch you. They're not going to look at you. They're not going to hug you, because giving you that intimacy is doing too much work for them. And yeah. So yeah, it's a little bit on somatic narcissist. And anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope y'all get some learning. What am I saying? I hope you guys get some ideas, and maybe you came across someone who is a somatic narcissist. I will say again, when you come across these people and you're in a relationship with one, good luck, because they will get you addicted. Remember in my video going back to the ex, it takes 23 days to break a habit. So a person can be a habit too, just as well as drug, alcohol, or other things. You can have a addiction to a person. So if that's the case, you gotta detox away from them. Detox away from them and cut them off, because these people will never change, and all they're going to do is just bring you down to the pits of hell, make you sick. You know, and another thing was, I'm just going to cut this short, but with that situation with that ex, he had some really psycho I wouldn't even call them girlfriends. He had some psycho harem. One in particular, I would see her around my neighborhood, and I don't think she even lived in this neighborhood, but I would see her around here. And one night at the store, she was, I said, I think that's what's her name. And I realized, oh, that's a lover girl who was in our relationship the whole time. And now she's at the store, and here she is. She looks so irritated, and she's walking up to me, but then as soon as she gets close to me, she turns around. I'm like, what was that about? I was like, what? So I don't know what that was about, but yeah, anyway, she was very strange, and she was walking up to me, and she just randomly just turned around. I don't know what she was about to do or say to me, but again, I'm not gonna say it, but I don't know what she was about to say or do. She was just acting very weird that night at the store, and I don't think I ever saw her again. I never did. It was, and in that same time, I saw my ex. He called me. He would periodically call me, and I just wouldn't answer his phone, and I never will. So I think he realizes that now. Anyway, I hope you like this podcast. And again, I just gave a little bit, just a backdrop on somatic narcissists. And there's way more stuff you can like Google or research, go on YouTube. But yeah, somatic narcissists, all usually are very attractive people, and yeah. All right. Anyway, we'll talk to you later. Shalom.